It began with a signal no one was meant to notice, an echo hidden in the raw data of the James Webb Telescope, a rhythm too perfect to be cosmic noise, too intentional to be coincidence. Something out there wasn't just passing by, it was watching. As astronomers tried to explain the impossible, the data only grew darker, stranger, and more precise. This wasn't a comet, it wasn't a rock, it was something built, and the moment we turned our telescopes toward it, it responded. It began as a whisper, an image buried deep inside the raw, unprocessed data of the James Webb Space Telescope. At first, it looked like a glitch, a meaningless rhythm hidden in a spectrographic reading. But the pattern was too precise, too consistent, too deliberate. It wasn't a cosmic dust flare, nor the thermal signature of a dying star, and it definitely wasn't a comet. This was something else. Something cold, calculated, and watching. The object, officially labeled 3I Atlas, had already gained notoriety for breaking the rules of physics. From the moment it was first detected, scientists expected another interstellar visitor, like Oumuamua or Borisov, strange, fast, and fleeting. But Atlas behaved differently. It followed no known script. It refused to be classified. And soon, it began to reveal characteristics that defied everything astronomers thought they understood about natural objects. When Atlas first entered the solar system, researchers thought it might be a dry comet, rare but possible. Yet, as it approached the sun, something eerie became obvious. It expelled only carbon dioxide, and in massive quantities. No water vapor, no carbon monoxide. Nothing that a comet should release. Instead, its chemical signature was unlike anything ever recorded. NASA pointed the infrared spectrometer aboard the Spherex observatory toward it, searching for the usual gases. But again, the readings came back impossible. CO2 and nothing else. What kind of object emits only carbon dioxide? The answer, none that we know of. Public interest exploded, but NASA stayed quiet. And in the silence, something unusual was happening behind closed doors. The James Webb Space Telescope, reserved for exoplanets, galaxies, cosmic birthplaces, was secretly assigned to observe Atlas. No images were released, no statements, just a leak. A report describing what Webb had supposedly seen. The object had no natural coma, but instead a perfectly symmetrical halo of CO2 stretching hundreds of thousands of kilometers. Even stranger, the halo glowed, not from reflected sunlight, but from a light source inside the object. According to the leaked spectrogram, the emissions resembled engineered photonic systems, the kind used in communication arrays or data transmitters. The wavelengths weren't random. They pulsed in repeating sequences, structured like a cosmic Morse code. Atlas also wasn't small. It measured 46 kilometers in diameter, far too large to statistically appear as a random interstellar object. For something of that size to enter our solar system from deep space would mean one of two things. Either we misunderstand the universe at a fundamental level, or the object did not arrive by chance. But the most disturbing discovery wasn't its composition or size. It was its trajectory. Unlike Oumuamua's chaotic slingshot path, Atlas entered the solar system in perfect alignment with the orbital plane of the planets, a path with a 1 in 500 natural probability. Avi Loeb, the controversial astrophysicist who claimed Oumuamua could be artificial, described Atlas's trajectory as technologically suggestive. It wasn't just passing through, it was navigating. And then came the origin. Atlas appeared to trace back to the Sagittarius constellation, the same patch of sky where the legendary WOW signal, the strongest potential extraterrestrial transmission ever recorded, originated in 1977. The odds were unsettling. A new theory emerged, not from science fiction, but from engineering logic. Atlas might be a hollowed asteroid retrofitted with machinery, using CO2 sublimation as camouflage to appear. Natural scientists on Earth had proposed the concept for decades. Asteroid starships protected by thick rock to withstand cosmic radiation. If humanity had thought of it, why couldn't someone else? The leaked Webb data deepened the mystery. The light emissions coming from Atlas weren't stable. They flickered in sequences matching prime numbers, a method SETI scientists have long suggested would be a universal language for intelligent communication. Even more chilling, between each pulse was a long, deliberate silence, almost as if the object were waiting for something or someone. When the leak became public, NASA locked down all data. Observatories were instructed to stop publishing updates. The media moved on, but inside classified channels, something stirred. Within 48 hours, the U.S. military redirected satellites toward Atlas's projected path, and the secretive X-37B spaceplane was launched into orbit on an unannounced mission. Internal documents labeled Atlas as a technological unknown of extraterrestrial origin. Outside the official narrative, another theory took shape. A group of fringe astrobiologists suggested Atlas might not just be a machine, but a living system, a hybrid organism combining biological and mechanical components, capable of self-repair, adaptation, and decision-making across millennia. If true, Atlas didn't just arrive here, it chose here. Then the timing anomalies began. The pulses, the trajectory shifts, the orbital alignments, all formed a pattern. Independent astronomers predicted that in 9 months, Atlas would reach a position that required either an enormous gravitational assist or an internal propulsion maneuver. The structure of the emissions suggested phases. Some believed we were entering phase 3 of a 5-phase cycle, ending when Atlas aligned between Mars and Earth. As if in response, the Deep Space Network began experiencing disruptions. Probes like New Horizons and Voyager 2 went silent in sync with Webb observations. Radio astronomers detected electromagnetic disturbances centered around Atlas's tracking windows. It was almost as if the object knew it was being observed and was interfering. Tracking data then revealed something no natural object should do: course corrections. Precise angular deviations toward specific stars, including the Lytton system, home to a potentially habitable exoplanet. This suggested intention, planning, and perhaps a route traveled before. The final leak was the most disturbing. When Webb captured its last infrared spectrogram of Atlas, a scientist plotted the bursts in polar coordinates and overlaid star maps from the Gaia spacecraft. The emissions traced a star map, not of the Milky Way, but of the Triangulum Galaxy, 2.7 million light-years away. The last line of the map curved back toward Earth, forming a perfect loop. This wasn't a traveler, it was a return. Inside NASA, a countdown embedded in the IR pulses was decoded, 283 Earth days remaining. But the message didn't come from us. It came from Atlas. If this object has crossed galaxies and epochs to reach our solar system, then one truth becomes impossible to ignore. James Webb didn't discover it. It discovered us. And now, as the countdown continues, one question hangs above all others. What happens when it reaches 0? So now the real question isn't what 3i Atlas is, but what it's coming here to do. Every signal, every maneuver, every shift in its behavior points to one truth. It isn't drifting, it's choosing. And whatever waits at the end of this countdown is already on its way. If this object crossed galaxies to reach us, then James Webb didn't discover it. It discovered us. If you want to keep following this mystery, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Cosmic Files.